Hello everyone, welcome back to our another episode of Learning. Again, I am Sir Roy, your science teacher, and for today we're going to talk about the formation of ions. Now, for this particular lesson, the most essential learning competency that will be covered is to explain how ions are formed. For the introduction, I would like to look at this particular illustration. This is a light bulb powered by salt dissolved in water. Did you know that you can use salt water to make a light bulb shine? It sounds crazy, but it's true. This is because salt water is a good conductor of electricity, which makes ocean water a resource for renewable energy. Can you imagine how many light bulbs will be lighted, most especially here in our country, as an archipelago surrounded by oceans and seas having abundant seawater? Now, let's have also a trivia for this particular lesson. This is Engineer Isa Mijeno. Did you know that? She is a Filipino inventor who founded SALT, or also it stands for Sustainable Alternative Lighting, as a way to generate energy and provide an alternative source of light to remote communities in the Philippines. The product concept was formed after living with the Butbut tribe for days, relying only on kerosene lamps and moonlight to do evening chores. This is as an illustration of a salt lamp. A salt lamp is an LED lamp. LED stands for light emitting diode, powered by the galvanic reaction of an anode with saline water. It can provide 8 hours of light as well as power to a USB port for charging a phone. Now, did you ever wonder why salt water conducts electricity? But before that, let us first define the concept of electricity. It is a steady flow of electrons or electrically charged particles through a substance. Salt molecules are made of sodium ions and chlorine ions. When you put salt in water, the water molecules pull the sodium and chlorine ions apart so they are floating freely. These ions are what carry electricity through water with an electric current. Now let us discuss the formation of ions. As you can see in the illustration, ions are atoms that have charges or possess charges. Any atom or molecule with a net charge, either positive or negative, is known as an ion. How can we produce an ion? We can produce an ion by taking a neutral atom and adding or removing one or more electrons. Ions are generally found in a gaseous state and do not occur in abundance on Earth. Now, there are two types of ions. It could either be a cation or an anion. How we're going to differentiate the two? Cation is a positively charged ion. On the other hand, anion is a negatively charged ion. Now, how does an atom become a cation and an ion? I would like you to focus on this illustration. A neutral atom becomes cation if it loses an electron, while a neutral atom becomes an anion when it gains electron. Another illustration can be used to represent ion in the form of cation and anion. Center part first. So this one is the neutral atom. And on the left side, you can see a negative ion, which is an anion. And on the right side, we have a positive ion or a cation. When you look at the neutral atom, we can notice that the number of electrons is equal to the number of protons. On the other hand, in terms of an ion or a negative ion, there are greater number of protons compared to that of electrons. On the other hand, in terms of a cation or a positive ion, there are greater number of electrons than that of protons. Let's have assigning names for an ion. Unlike a cation, which is named for the parent atom, an anion is named by taking the root name of the atom and changing the ending. For example, the chlorine anion produced from the Cl or chlorine is obtained from the root of the atom named chlor plus the suffix "ide". Other atoms had one electron to form negative 1 ions, which include the following. For example, we have here fluorine. So it will be converted to fluoride ion. We also have bromine, bromide ion, iodine, which is converted to iodide ion. We also have ion charges and the periodic table. As you would notice, note that the group 1 metals all form one positive ion. The group 2, all metals also form 2 positive ion, and the group 3 metals form 3 positive ion. Thus, groups 1, 2, and 3, the charges of the cations form are identical to the group numbers. Writing chemical formulas with ions. In chemistry, the crisscross method is a way to write the formulas of ionic compounds. So it is also one way of writing the formula for those compounds containing ions. Using this method, the number associated with the charge of the first ion is assigned as the subscript of the second ion. The number of the charge on the second ion is assigned on the subscript of the first ion. Let's take the following example. The first one is a sodium sulfide. Let us first identify the charge of the two atoms. For sodium atom, the charge is positive 1. On the other hand, in the sulfur atom, the charge is negative 2. Now, what we're going to do is to place the charge of sodium as a subscript of sulfur atom. On the other hand, we're also going to place the charge of sulfur atom as a subscript of the sodium atom. So the answer would be Na2S. So in this particular example, we did not indicate number 1 because it's already understood that it possesses one atom. So we just included number 2. So we have Na2S. Next one, write the formula for lead 4 oxide. So here is the illustration. Lead element or the lead atom has a charge of positive 4. On the other hand, the oxygen atom has a charge of negative 2. We're going to place the charge of the lead atom as a subscript of the oxygen atom. On the other hand, the charge of the oxygen atom will be placed as a subscript of the lead atom. Now we can arrive with Pb2O4. But we have to find out the lowest ratio. So it could also be simplified as PbO2. So this is the chemical formula for lead 4 oxide. Now let's have some sort of exercises. I would like to read each statement or question below carefully and fill in the blanks with the best answer. Let's start with number 1. Any atom or molecule with a net charge, either positive or negative, is known as an... The answer is ion. Number 2. An atom that gains one electron or one extra electron forms an blank with a negative 1 charge. This is an ion. Number 3. A positive ion called a blank is produced when one or more electrons are lost from a neutral atom. The answer for number 3 is cation. Let's have number 4. Unlike a cation, which is named for the parent atom, an anion is named by taking the blank of the atom and changing the ending. The answer is root name. Number 5. The name of each anion is obtained by adding the suffix blank to the root of the atom name. This is IDE or IDE. Number 6. The blank always form positive ions. The answer is metals. For number 7, blank on the other hand form negative ions by gaining electrons. This is nonmetals. That ends our lesson for today. So here are the references that I made use for this particular presentation. Thank you for watching and do not forget to click the subscribe button for more videos.